Hello and welcome. This is the Path of Exile for Dummies channel, but this video is not about Path of Exile. Yes, I am playing 3.19, but it hasn't been all that great. So here I am playing a different game in the meantime, and I've kind of been switching on and off between this game and Path of Exile. This game is called Farthest Frontier, and the reason why I'm making a video on this is because I've been playing it for about 75 hours. I've learned a lot about the game, trying to get in touch with the player base and the community. So I thought I'd make a video on some basic tips as well as some advanced tips for playing this game. I typically don't play games like this, but it's been quite a bit of fun. I have about, like I said, 75 hours into this game. I've restarted multiple times. I've learned a lot every time I've restarted, but this is the one that I've played. This setup is the one that I've played the most so far. So, to start off, I want to give you some basic tips. Number one, when you start the game and you choose whatever land you want to be in, you need to scan for resources. And so, how you can do that is when you start the game, you can look around the area and see what kind of resources are out there. Not only that, if you hit F4, you will see the number of resources available within each spot. So, for instance, the sand pit right here has 290, 2,900 sand left in it. I've been mining it for a while, and you can see exactly like how much iron is in each area. And then you want to find a map that has a good amount of resources. Resources being things you can mine, like clay, iron, coal, sand, as well as things that you can forage, like medicinal roots and berries and things like that. So try to find a map that has a good amount of each. If you can't find one map that has a good amount of everything, you're going to be struggling a bit later. You're going to have to buy more things from merchants, like especially sand tends to be a tough one to find. So scan the map at the beginning. Second basic tip, blueberries. This one is a pretty common tip now. Look at all my blueberry bushes. You might be thinking, how did you get all those blueberry bushes right there? What you can do is you can move blueberry bushes by clicking this button right here. And you can relocate blueberry bushes. So you can go out into the wild and move blueberry bushes closer to your settlement. Blueberries are the only plants you're allowed to do that with. Hawthorn, which is the berry that grows in the autumn, is not available to move. Blueberries are the only ones available to move. But again, it's nice to move them closer and into a big bunch and put some foragers nearby so that they can forage them quickly and efficiently when it's the season. All right, next tip, trade and trade early. So, when you're playing the game, at some point, you're going to be able to build a trading center. And what you can do is you can sell excess materials or goods that you're making, and you can also buy materials that allow you to make more goods. Or if you trade early on, you can buy things like bricks from merchants. And the nice thing about that is you will be able to upgrade buildings or build certain buildings that you can't even build yet technically because things like your town center is not upgraded yet. So there are perks to having a trading center. And just as the tips suggest in the game, as you're loading a game, one of the tips says buy basic resources from merchants and then transform them into goods. And really, it works, and then you can sell those goods for more money. Next basic tip is placement matters. So, of course, there is the desirability that is impacted by the placement of a building. And so, all the houses over here, and notice that all of my industrial things are over here. They're all red. Things like the compost yard. You don't want to put a compost yard right next to a house. No one's going to want to live there. So it's wise to put things in certain locations to avoid them being too close to a residence. The other thing to consider is when you're placing things is the travel time needed. So for instance, the smokehouse worker spends quite a bit of time on travel. more than 50% just transferring goods. This is, I hope, something that the game will fix as far as smoke houses go. I wish there were more workers. If there were more workers, then other workers could be stocking the smokehouse while some workers are actually smoking meat. Anyway, uh, so placement of a building does matter so that they have less travel time. Sometimes though, it's just you can't afford to put a certain building somewhere, or your buildings are mishmashed like mine, and you just got to build another building. The thing is, you can have multiple smokehouses. You can have like how many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven smokehouses, and that's a lot. And so I didn't set this to 10. I need to do that so that they produce more smoked meat. So you can build multiples of every building, and instead of trying to put them in the best location. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Alright, next basic tip. Sorry, that's my dog making noise. Okay, protecting your crops. Once you start farming, you need to build fences around your crops so that deer and as well as wild boar are not able to eat your crops. Wild boar are able to break down fences, so that's why you'll see that I have guard towers near my crops as well to fend off the wild boars. Because sometimes the wild boars can break your fences and then to come eat your crops. Oh no, villager has died of old age. They're not allowed to die of old age. Next basic tip. Um, you want to have some kind of crop rotation going. So I saw a video someone else did. It was great on a really good crop rotation. Um, one year being uh, root vegetables, next year being wheat, and the next year being beans. Why root, wheat, and beans? They don't spoil very easily. So, and then, for instance, this one is on a different rotation on a different year. That way I always have at least, each of those items every year because each field is on a different rotation. So, you do also want to have a field that grows flax because you're going to want to uh, produce clothing as well. So, next basic tip, having barns. So, you don't have to have just one barn, you can have multiple barns. And the more barns you have, the more milk you're going to have, the more cheese you're going to have, and the more beef you're going to have as well. So, you can slaughter a cow for 500 meat, 10 hides, or 12 tallow, and that's a lot of resources. And so, sorry, that dog is just making noises looking out the window. So, multiple barns helps a lot. Starting with one barn is fine. You're going to find that it fills up very fast. The cows reproduce really fast. So, having multiple barns um, gets you through the tough times. All right, now to some advanced tips. All right, my first advanced tip is about flattened land. So, at some point you might see that the land's not completely flat, which is great because if it were completely flat, that'd be make the game a little too easy. But you can flatten the land. So, for instance, at first this mine right here was on a slope, and what I had to do was flatten the land. It was flattened. And the thing is, if you just do it once, it's not going to be enough. You'll find that if you flatten out an area near a mine that's on the slope of a mountain, doing it once is not enough. It's not going to allow you to always build that mine there. It's going to say that the slope is too steep. So what you can do, the tip here is to queue up your flattening of land. So you can do it multiple times. And you can do the surrounding area multiple times. And so this is going to get multiple workers to flatten that land out, and so you don't have to wait to see if the one time you did it was enough. You can go ahead and queue them so that it'll flatten quicker, and you can probably get it in one go, which is really nice. Sorry, I'm canceling these out because I really don't want to spend worker time on flattening that area. All right, the next advanced tip is on layout, and everyone should have a different idea on layout because there is no one right way to do it. But here is mine set up. I have multiple layers of walls because if raiders break through one set of walls, they got to break through the next set of walls and then through the next set of walls. And what do raiders go after when they attack your village? They are going towards the storehouses and the warehouses because that's where you keep all the goods. And so that's where they're headed. If you keep if you keep layers of walls that they have to go through, they take longer to get there. It gives your guard towers time to knock them down before they can get to your warehouses. So multiple walls help a lot. Um, the other thing is just kind of my setup here. I have all the residential off to the side here, and then I have all of my industry down here. And then the way my guard towers are set up here is the walls are close enough that the guard towers can reach both sides of the wall. And you don't want to have any wall that's exposed, meaning you don't want to have an area that's not protected by a guard tower, because um, the raiders are smart. See, even this spot right here is a little questionable because the raiders are smart. They will go to the spots that are not guarded by guard tower. This is an easy spot right here for the raiders to break in through, um, and so they always choose those spots first. All right, and my last bit of advice is about the watchtowers. You should and could fortify your watchtowers. Here's what I mean by that: build walls around around your watchtowers. Because when the raiders attack, if there's a watchtower available for them to attack, they will attack that, and they can actually take down a watchtower pretty fast. But if you have walls and a gate around your towers, it will take them longer to get to that tower. They have to break down the walls and the gates first. So, if you fortify your towers with walls and gates, it takes the raiders a lot longer to get to them. So, I haven't seen anyone do that yet. That's my little tip. If you end up using it, make sure you give me credit. Haha. Um, those are my tips for dummies, because when I started this game, I was very much a dummy. But as I play, I'm trying to find the ways to be most efficient. So that's just what I've found so far. Do what works best for you. Just know that there are little hacks here and there you can do to make the game a little bit more efficient. If you liked my video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you have any opinions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Like I said, I'd love to engage with the community of people playing this game and to get their thoughts and opinions on building and how you play this game most efficiently. So, thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.